Some other YouTubers have said some stuff about red letters. Does anybody out there know if there's a thing with that? I've never seen it officially, or I've never priced up a card because it has red letter. I've never seen more red letters sell than other ones. Maybe I don't notice it. Welcome to SMPostcards. Today I'm going to go through the normal stuff, what's sold on eBay. Sold 8 cards, so it should go pretty quick. Not a real busy day, but I'll take it. I've had some pretty good days here and there. We'll go through those real quick, and then I'll get into the special topic of Silver Springs, Florida postcards. Anybody's been doing postcards probably have seen these linen cards, chrome cards, the glass bottom boats. It's a state park now, and I'll walk through those. We'll look at the sell-through rates and pricing, a little history about Silver Springs, so it gives you a good foundation when you're looking at these cards. Reminds me of Cypress Gardens. Do I still list them? The alligators for sure. I've sold some. We'll get into the details in a minute. And instead of doing a poll, I've had people ask me, I mentioned about social media with eBay. They came out with a new little link thing on there that I found, and I use it. I've been using Pinterest for a long time, sharing some of my listings all the time, some videos, and I'll show you what I do with that on a little clip I'm going to do on there, and I'll let you figure out how to use the different social media sites, since I'm not a guru or expert on those sites. You'll understand here in a minute when I get into that, but we're going to talk about that feature on eBay, and then I got about 4 viewer comments, quick comments we'll go through. But let's get started on the what's sold. Real quick today, only got 8 cards. Kind of nice. I got other things to do today, so. Now the first one sold was the USS Arizona. Special battleship. A lot of history about it. It's one of those prints, matte and back, front, matte back. It was printed out by that club. All the cards I purchased from them a while ago, a couple years ago. Sold for $4.75. Next one sold for $7.55. This is it says hand colored. You'll see that on the back here, hand colored. You can look at it, know that if you look at it, but it's a nice card. It's the Indian Point Hudson River Dayline Park, and it was a park, and it comped out to be $7.55. Not a bad card. Hand colored divided back card, unposted, $7.55. Next one came from another one of my Navy cards, naval cards. This is the training center, technical training center located on board the Naval Air Station Lakehurst, New Jersey. What's neat about it's got a nice little plane there. It's got different things in there. I've sold a few of these cards. I got a bunch left, and that sold for $4.75. Next one I just listed yesterday. Bunch of these, I bought a bunch of baseball themed postcards, so I got them all up yesterday. I think I had 120 or something like that. This was the first floor of the Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, New York. A lot of them out there. This one sold for $5.75 unposted. I have to price these cards up since I bought them from an online auction, and I need to recoup the shipping. I have a little bit more money into these than I would if I bought a lot of them or at an auction. So I always know I separated when I scanned them into a folder called baseball, and I knew I had to bump up some of them $1 or so to get my shipping paid for. Next one is a real photo postcard. This came from the Indiana auction I went to. I went to an auction, postcard auction, paid a lot of money, and this is the courthouse, Lebanon, Indiana. It's a real photo postcard, and this sold for $7.75. I probably had a dozen of these courthouses. I bought a whole tray full of courthouses, and a lot of them are Lebanon and stuff, real photos. But this is a nice card. The condition's really good. It's got a little stuff up here, but not bad. Sold for $7.75. Next one is Gardy Hotel, New Haven, Connecticut. White border card on there. It's got a little ding in the front here, a little tear. Not too bad. It's a white border card. Gardy Hotel, Haven, $4.75. Hawaii card. Still selling Hawaii cards. This is a vertical card. Nice sunset on Hawaii. It's one of those series right there. $5.75. I always try to price up, except for the Hawaiian flowers. Everything else gets usually bumped up $1 on Hawaii. Hairpin Turn Mohawk Trail. I have no idea when I got this one, but I know I have a lot of them. And this sold for $4.75. It's a white border card. It has all the cars. Posted. Nope, not posted. Just a message on there. There's no. I mark it as posted if there's a postmark on there, and there's no postmark. So that sold for $4.75. So I had a total of 8 cards sold overnight for $48.68 was the total. Average sale price, if you take $48.68 and divide it by 8, gives you an average sale price of $6.09. So I'm happy with that. Now, a lot of people say, well, $48, $49, that's not a lot. Some days you have low days. Some days you have really good days. Overall, my goal this year was $70 a day, which will give me $25,500 a year. It puts about $1,000 or so a month in my pocket at the end. I don't have a lot of overhead. I don't promote a lot. I don't do best offer. I just put my best price out there. And I'm not worried about one day. I'm not going to go in and make changes if I have a week of slow sales. It's got to be a trend. A trend to me is uptrend, side trend, or downtrend. If I'm seeing a side trend, that's the same thing as everything's static, everything's fine. Uptrend means it's starting to move up, and that's where my postcard store has always been over a year, as it slowly grows. A downturn trend, we're talking 3 to 6 months here, is something that your sales are declining. I saw that last year going through different stages, but it would take a turn, go back up, come down. It was like a roller coaster. So that's not, it's a side trend, uptrend, downtrend, just all over the place. So it's hard to manage those type of things, and if you try to react, you're just chasing the hills and valleys. And I don't chase hills and valleys. I just let it roll. I just let it roll and see how it comes out in 6 months. And I'm still above my goal of $70 for sure, and I'm right at 14 cards a day. My average sale price is going up. I'm happy. I'm not going to worry about it. For next year in 2020, or this year, I'm doing $80 a day, which I'm already meeting. I want to do 16 cards, which I am over to 14 cards a day. And I want to keep raising my ASP. And I want to be very selective on purchasing cards and stuff like that. So I'm happy with it. This is a supplemental income to me. I'm not full-time reseller. I don't rely on this to pay my house bills or whatever. So different pressure than people that need this as full-time gig or whatever. Different pressure. Special topic, Silver Springs, Florida. Glass bottom boats. The little tree that grows that you've seen the postcard, you'll probably see it in the photos I do here. But where is Silver Springs located? Here's a little map I found right from their website, silversprings.com. I think it was where I found some of the stuff. Never been there. It's above Tampa, above Orlando, and it's the little red dot there is where this is located, below Jacksonville. So it's upper Florida, I would say. That's what you call it, is where Silver Springs is located. But I'm going to go ahead and talk about Silver Springs, give you some paragraphs. I got 3 facts I found about Silver Springs I'll talk about, and while I do that, I'm going to give you some postcards to look at that I found for sale or sold. Here we go. Silver Springs, located in Florida, has a rich and fascinating history that dates back centuries. The stunning natural wonder has been gathering place for people for thousands of years. Native American tribes like the Tippecanoe and Seminoles were some of the earliest inhabitants of the region and recognized the beauty and importance of Silver Springs. They considered it a sacred place and used its crystal clear waters for sustenance and rituals. In the 19th century, Silver Springs gained fame as a popular tourist destination. People from all over the United States came to marvel at its incredible springs and lush surroundings. Glass-bottom boats were introduced in the late 1800s, allowing visitors to see the underwater world teeming with fish and unique aquatic plants. Over time, Silver Springs continued to grow in popularity, attracting famous figures like President Ulysses S. Grant and author Harriet Beecher Stowe, who found inspiration for their work here. The era marked the beginning of Silver Springs as a cherished part of Florida's natural heritage. and a must-visit location for anyone interested in its history and beauty. In the 20th century, Silver Springs became a popular backdrop for movies and television shows. Its crystal clear waters and lush surroundings were featured in classics like Tarzan and Creature of the Black Lagoon. Additionally, the state of Florida recognized the importance of preserving this natural wonder, and in 1985, Silver Springs became a state park, ensuring its protection and accessibility to future generations. Today, visitors can still take glass-bottom boat tours, explore the lush trails, and immerse themselves in the rich history and natural beauty of Silver Springs, Florida. I have 3 facts here that I picked out about Silver Springs, Florida. Underwater archaeological preserve, Silver Springs is home to an intriguing underwater preserve known as Silver Springs Shipwreck. In the 19th century, steamboats were common mode of transportation on the Silver River. The remains of some of the steamboats can be seen submerged in the waters, making it a unique attraction for divers and history enthusiasts. Number 2, famous glass arches. Silver Springs is home to the world's largest collection of stained glass windows created by the renowned American artist Louis Comfort Tiffany. These stunning stained glass arches were once part of the Silver Springs attraction, Today they can be viewed at the nearby Appleton Museum of Art in Ocala, Florida. And the 3rd fact, vintage Jungle Cruise. Before Disneyland's famous Jungle Cruise, there were Silver Springs Jungle Cruise. In the mid-20th century, visitors to Silver Springs could take a guided boat tour through a jungle-themed environment, complete with exotic animals and elaborate sets. It was a precursor to the famous Disneyland ride, making it a piece of theme park history. So you saw some of the postcards. You've probably seen those if you've been doing postcards and buying lots and putting them up. That's Silver Springs, Florida. But do they sell? Now, I usually use this little chart here. This is what's in my brain. 0 to 3% low sell-through rate. This is how many cards are moving through the system, not price, sales, promoted listings. Everything affects everything. This is just the number of cards moving through is all I do. I look at a 90-day snapshot. When I did this, it could change in a minute after I do it. Not much, but it usually does. So 0 to 3% sell-through rate, I really don't deal with. 4 to 7% is what I look for, 8 to 10. So I look between 4 and 10% sell-through rate. Those are the ones I look for all the time. I'm aware of them, I look at them, I go to a white box, that's what I pick up. While I'm doing that, I do see some of the low ones, but I also do pick up some like the Halloween cards. I see some of those. I'm not actively looking for them, but when I do see them and the price is good, I will buy them. Real photo postcards, stuff like that. But I'm basically looking for the 4 to 10%, and you can find them all over the place. As you get into postcards, you will become more aware of postcards, and you'll see them in places you never thought you'd see them. Antique stores and baskets, different places. Your aunt had some in the attic. You're going to become more aware of postcards is what happens. But what is the sell-through rate, and how do I calculate it? It's not scientific. I don't get down to the last card. I'm not worried about it. I just want to see if it falls in one of these ranges. Is it something I have a better chance of picking up and selling? Do I pick up some duds from this? Probably. Do I pick up some better ones? Sure. The better ones outweigh the bad ones. Just the way I see it. I'm not going to comp every card at a show. You just can't do that. Most of the cards I sell are $4 to $6 cards. I do find the higher ones, and I do find the lower ones. But I take sold. I go into eBay and I type in Postcard Silver Springs, and I found 241 sold with 5,900 listed. I thought it was a little low. I ran it a couple times, but this is the snapshot it gave me. Times 100 is 4%. So the 4% came out right to me. That seems right. It's on the lower end of average. It's like Cypress Gardens and different things like that. Not like Wiki Watchy, Mermaids, where they're at the 20s, and McDonald's and Disney's. This falls in that 4 to 7 range. I kind of knew that, just how they sell for me. So 4% lower average card. Not low, but low. So I put in the other gardens that I know of. I put Busch Gardens, Postcard Busch Gardens, 7%. Is that because of the beer, St. Louis, Midwest? Or is that in Florida too? I think Busch Gardens is in Florida. Busch Stadium is in. I just did a bunch of baseball cards, so I get confused. So 7%. Cypress Gardens, which is another one down there in Florida, which is now part of Legoland and stuff. I did a video on Cypress Gardens. 5%. So still 4 or 5%. It's right with it. St. Augustine, which is the oldest town, whatever, the Fountain of Youth, did a video about that. St. Augustine, a lot of postcards for St. Augustine out there. Some pretty neat ones. 4%. So it's in the range. And their Silver Springs 4%. So I think it's an average card. It's not going to be a seller. Now the alligator cards, some of the pictures of the glass bottom boat from the 50s, 60s, I've done well with those. But some of the other ones, the tree, that's crooked tree or whatever thing, I think that's Silver Springs. I have a lot of those listed, so I usually lot them up or throw them in the flea market bucket. But I kind of know when I see Silver Springs. If it looks cool, I'll list it. If it doesn't look cool, I'll throw it in the bucket. So it's a good filler card. Except the alligators. I like the alligators. They don't sell for a lot. There might be a few cards out there. Let's see. I found a couple of them. Here's the 3 examples of extreme pricing for Silver Springs. The higher ones, higher than normal, that I don't put it in my comping because they kind of sell themselves. Here's one that's a real photo. Remember, when you say real photo, when you talk about them, when you say real photo. When you write it, you say RPPC. I'm getting better at the etiquette. Someone told me that, and it makes sense. I don't know if it's an official rule, but I'll try. This is a real photo, entrance of Seminole Village, Silver Springs, Florida. Real photo. $85. So it's got Silver Springs, Florida, but it's a real photo postcard, and it's sold for $85. So real photos sell themselves. I wouldn't really put that into sell rate. They just sell themselves on stuff like this. Then you got a circa 1940, What Florida Attraction Am I in? Ross Allen, Silver Springs, Florida show. So it's kind of like a advertisement of the Ross Allen show, I think. It's got some good keywords in there. $30. So Ross Allen might be something to think about when you see Silver Springs. That seemed to be a pretty neat card. It's got my curiosity. And then you got the 1935 Fishes Dancing Underwater, Silver Springs, Florida postcard. Took best offer on $30, probably $25. That's still not bad for that card there. And there, so there are some cards out there that you can price up. I don't know how long these set, but that real photo postcard there. So the extreme ones, I would say $30 to $40. That $85 is kind of an outlier, but it's a real photo. So $30, $25, $30. Then you get into the normal average stuff we see in the boxes every day. This one, Postcard Silver Springs. Water nymphs, women in swimsuits, $11, $12. Women in swimsuits, that's going to sell. But that's a neat card. Those are, if I posted that card, I would look at it and say, that's a cool card. It's got everything you want. Water, swimsuits, women, the whole works. I mean, it sells itself. Yeah, you're going to raise it up. It's not like the other ones, I think, but that's not a bad price for that. Then you got Florida, Ocala, Motor Court. It's a motel. It kind of looks like it's a real photo. I'm not for sure. It doesn't say that. $10 for a motel in Silver Springs. Not too bad. Then the snake handler. I've sold this card. I've had cards like this. This is a neat card. The guy's holding a snake. I don't like snakes, so I don't bother them. They don't bother me. I'm fine with that. Snake handler in Silver Springs at Reptile Institute. $8. Yeah, I would bring that up. That would be a $6 to $8 card in there. I mean, look at it. It's got a guy with a snake in the early, 60s, 50s. Definitely, you want to raise it up. People are going to buy that card. It's going to sell itself. It's not a $50 card or anything like that. There's a lot of them out there, but I would definitely comp cards like that. So you're looking at the high water mark for extreme, 25 to 30. The high water mark for average cards, the higher end of them, I would say anywhere from $7 to $10, $9 you'll get from. So the little bit above average price, even though they're average cards, you got to hand pick what you want to do. The snake handler, alligators, do well. So that's everything about Silver Springs. Pretty straightforward. It's a state park in Florida, just like Cypress Gardens. Check them out. do your homework on them and see what you can get out of them. They do sell, but they're at the average price are going to be fillers, except cards like I just showed you. That's Silver Springs. Who knew? Now we're going to get into social media for eBay. There's a little link thing that they put together where you can link your listings to different sites like Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest. And I'm going to show you what I do with mine. Social media. I'm not a big one about it, and this isn't going to take your sales from 100 cards a day to 500 a day. I can tell you that right up front, and I got some analytics to show you on there. I use it. There was one time last year somebody found my page, Facebook page, SMPostcards. I never did anything with it. I hardly even looked at it. And I tell people if they wanted to message me, I put the email address in there. If you have a store and you have a name, business name, you should go out to every site that you can and just sign up an account. Don't have to use it like TikTok. I have one there. I got Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, all the different ones, Threads, a new one. I go out and I just create SMPostcards as the username. That way no one else gets your name. And you want to get out there and change the passwords every so often. So security is a big thing. If you're not changing your password, don't use the same password on everything. Get a password manager that generates it for you and go out there and change it. How I do it is every month I pick the A's and the B's this last month. Then I'll go to C's and D's. And I change those. So throughout the year I usually change my passwords a half a dozen times. And it's real easy with my password manager because it syncs across my Windows PCs, my MacBook, my phone, my watch. Everything gets synced across my iPad. So once I change it, it'll automatically sync across. So if I need the password, I just go over to my password manager. It's loaded on every machine. And it has the security. And make sure that you're rebooting your machine and signing out of your applications regularly. And sign back in so you create a new session ID. Get rid of cookies and take those patches from things. If you wait until you get all the patches in, and then you load everything up and it forces you to do it, you don't know which one caused the problem, is what I tell people. Plus they close holes all the time. I saw probably 2-3 times a week I reboot all my machines and I make sure I get all the updates. Don't have a problem. If I do have a problem, I know which one it is. I go in and remove that until they get it fixed. But I haven't had one in a long time. But I don't let them patch by themselves. I want to take everything down first. Off of that little security kick here. The social media thing I'm going to do, I did a little clip here to show you what I do. And I hope it helps. It doesn't get in there how to use Pinterest and Instagram and stuff. I'll leave that up to you. But it kind of shows you how I use it. I don't use it for Instagram and Facebook. I'm not a big one for that, and I don't use my phone for those. I use the computer, so it doesn't look the greatest. So I'll show you what I do with that real quick. And it might get that one person that sees my YouTube or sees my store that haven't seen it before, but it's not going to bring crowds in. So here's the little clip, and then I'll come back and we'll talk about it. With eBay now, they have what they call social. It's a page on Seller Hub, and how you get there, you used to be able to go to store. Social is still there, but they're moving it to marketing. And you go to social, and it'll bring up this page here. You can link 3 different things: Facebook, Instagram, or Pinterest. Now the reason I don't use Facebook and Instagram, because I'm not a big user of those, I have a template I put out every day. I put a postcard up on Facebook and Instagram, same one, and it goes out, and I just post a postcard. And what that does basically gets me maybe an extra eye on my YouTube or eBay or whatever. But I don't spend a lot of time on these two. Pinterest, it's out there. Not a lot of people know about it, but it is a social media site that I've used for a long time. I am linked to that, and that's where I link things. Let's go take a look at my Pinterest page. This is Pinterest for me. This is the one I use from the link here in eBay. So it has SMPostcards, some stuff in there. I have 1.3 thousand followers, 38.3 thousand monthly views. That's what I like right there. So I'm getting views from people. Is that a lot? I don't know. On there. But these are all my boards. I have all pins, holidays, other collectibles, Midwest, Eastern, all the way across. You can't put a ton of boards out. You're limited, so I had to say Midwest, Eastern, stuff like that. But I have 15,196 pins. So you create a Pinterest account, then you create a site, you put it boards, and then you put pins and boards. So that's how I use Pinterest. Now back to the social page on eBay. There's two different ways that you can link. And I don't use this one up here, but it's create a post. We're going to look at analytics in a minute, and then down here, recent listings. So create a post, you can do up to 4 at a time. Like here, it's got the check mark. I link my Pinterest account. And then I go down and say I want to put what board I want to put something holiday. And then we go to category. And then store categories. And if I go down to postcards right here, and then all my store categories coming up since I'm on eBay, it knows. And let's say Halloween. Let's say I want to put this keyhole one up. Now you can do 4, but it's going to put it all in one pin. And then it goes to back to your store. I like doing them 1 at a time, but you can do 4 at a time. So once I got that selected, I can hit next. And there's the image. eBay, Halloween, unposted, divided back. So it's picking up item specifics is what it's picking up. And that's about all there is to it. You can schedule a post as well to put them out there. So you could schedule out for the whole month for on there. But I'll show you what I do. And then down in the bottom right here, you hit post. And then it says posting to Pinterest. And now if I go back to my Pinterest, and we look under holiday, let's refresh that. There it is. And then if the person is viewing that and they click on it, it brings up this on there, and then they can click and go into your store, into the Halloween category where everything is. So that's kind of what it does, is able to link back to eBay. So if they're viewing this and they want to see more about it or buy it, they can click on more and they can go find it, and there it is right there for $68.75. So it's just another way of marketing to bring stuff in. So that's create a post. You can do up to 4, but if you do 4, what I found is it puts them all in one pin. So I don't mess with that too much. What I usually do is after I get done listing for the day, is I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, about 10 here. And I usually just start from the left. So if I click on this, same thing, what board I want to put it on. That's the Astrodome, so that's going to be out west. You don't have to be perfect on where, I try to get it where it needs to go. Then I hit OK. And then you get the same stuff. eBay, Houston, Texas, Chrome card, posted, Astrodome. I can schedule it if I want, and then post. And then it takes a second, and then it brings you back to the screen. So I usually do that every day after I get done listing. I go through and do whatever's on the board here, 8 or 10 of them that show up. I did some baseball ones yesterday on there and stuff like that. But that's how you use that. But you want to link your accounts. And you can play with this. If you're good with Facebook and Instagram, a lot better than I am, you can probably get the linking working. But I just use Pinterest. I'm not that worried about there. But let's look at the analytics they give you and see what it does for me. Now this is 7 days. Let's look for the last 6 months. If you look up here, total social, up in the corner here, if you can see my mouse, total social visits. Let's see what it says. All visits from social posts that you've shared via the eBay share options on the social page, or the social page. So 616 total visits in 6 months. So 100 a month. Instagram visits, 272. Pinterest, 267. Other sites, 46. So Pinterest only gave me 267 more views in 6 months. Copy link in there. SMS visits. And down here shows you the graph. The blue is total visits. The highest one looks like Instagram. Pinterest is red, and they're sort of bumping up. So Pinterest is right here. I got a big bump over here for something. But it gives you an idea. So is it a game changer? I wouldn't say it's the biggest game changer in the world. It's just something different to get eyes on. But that I've had people ask me about that, and that's how you use the social. I thought I would do a little clip to show you about that on there. But again, you go to marketing, social, and you go through there. And then you just pick what you want. I hope that helped. It's pretty intuitive. Set up your accounts, link them here, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest if you already got one, and then start sharing to see how it looks. Okay, now back to the video. So that's all I do. Now with Instagram and Facebook every day, and I have these laid out for like 2-3 months ahead of time, at the end of the month I go through and do 30 more. I have a little template for my Affinity Photo Studio. I just grab a postcard, put it in there, and save it as a date, and that way I always got 90 days, and in the morning after listening I just go through and put a new one up. That's it. I'm not looking, I don't spend a lot of time with social media on that part of it. YouTube, yes, but the other ones, no. And this is the little template I used that you'll see every day. If you go into Instagram or Facebook with me, you'll see this every day. I do put other things once in a while out there, something special come up, or go to the Ko-Fi store or stuff like that, but I don't get a lot of traction. But that's the social media part. If you got any questions, look at the help files and the forums and stuff like that about social media. I hope that helps and answers questions that people have asked. Now, before we get into viewer comments, I wanted to show you something that I found, and I've known of this forever. Postcard publishers use the same image a lot on different things. There's the Same Sky video about postcards you want to check out, about Dexter Press using the clouds, the same clouds in Pennsylvania that they were in Montana, because the artists used the same backdrop. I guess it's early 1900s CGI. But they use the same clouds here and here, and some collector figured it out. Got a lot of good views on it, and I did watch it, and it's a pretty neat video. But I was doing a card, and I sold it. I sold the card. When I put it in Google Image, I found this. So this is the card that I sold. 20th Annual Fair. I want you to key in on the town, Boswell, Indiana. Okay, that's the card I sold. Now when I put it in Google Image, this one popped up, Crawford Grange Fair in Illinois. Then this one popped up, same image. I'm leaving that one up, my original up there, and I'm going through these. So we got Indiana, Illinois. Now we got Ohio, Findlay, Ohio. Same little dude. If you notice, they're tinting these things different colors. Then we move back east, Pennsylvania, same little dude. So I got 4 different cards, 4 different states, 4 different dates. So they're reusing, and this is what, 1910, 1901. So they're out there using these cards. So I just wanted to show you, be careful. I saw this, it popped right up in front of me when I did Google Image. Is how I saw this. So if you think you got gold here, it's the little boy wasn't in Pennsylvania, Indiana, Ohio, and Illinois. But it could be a unique thing. So if you get any questions about that, that's what it is. The publishers use different cards. Some of the roads on those greetings from Kansas City, Missouri, and it has a country road, that might not even be a road that's in Kansas City. It just says it, but who's going to know what tree and what road along a little river on there? So that's how the salesman I've read did things. But this was totally jumped right out at me when I saw that. I go, wow. I said, wow, there's a lot of comps. Then I started looking at the dates, and I started looking at the towns and the state, and I said, what is this? Oh, it's the same publisher used the same card. So I thought I would share that. If you get anything like that, bring it to show and tell. Send it to me at contact@smpostcards.com, and I'll use it in the show and tell if you find things like this. Anomalies and stuff. I'm sure it happens more often than I see on there, but I just wanted to show that to you. Viewer comments come from email, YouTube, eBay. Please do not reply to me on eBay. Please go comment on a video, ask for my email, or look on YouTube for my email address. It's contact@smpostcards.com. I'll get back to you. Or comment on a video. eBay, I'm very restricted on what I can say. So usually I'll just tell you to go to my video and comment, and then we'll just take it from there on there, because eBay bots will come in and spank me. But if you put it in YouTube, I consider it public. It's got your name on it and everybody can see it. If it's an email, it's more private. Names don't get used and stuff unless I ask and you say it's okay. Pretty much is where I keep it there. First one is Bold to Grow Pickers. It says, nice video, Mark. Some new things to look at when looking at Yellowstone cards. Yeah, you can always pick out at least one thing that I found on Yellowstone or one of these videos. If you can find one thing, now some of you guys might not find anything because you know more about it than I do most of the time. But if you can just get one thing to help you with something, is the goal. And that's what I usually end up doing in these videos. I find dozens of things that I start looking for. My brain gets full on there. I probably forget half of them. I spent a whirlwind day in Yellowstone for geology. So he's a geologist, a doctor in that field, dinosaur hunter, the whole works. Is what Bold to Grow Pickers Chris does. Definitely take your time, he says. I sell more Continentals than Standard, filling the niche that others don't sell in. And then Chris told me that. Now I know why he's always running out of space, because he's selling the big cards, I told him. And he says, he laughed and he says, yeah, that's why I had to buy another 1,000 Continental sleeves from you. So he bought a bunch out of Ko-Fi store. But he's hurting for space and he's putting those bigger cards in there. That one card can reach in that closet. I know I can get one more in there. So Continentals do sell. I don't put up a lot of them because I got so many of the Standard cards. But a lot of Hawaii cards I've sold and different ones like that. They're just newer. They're coming in their own, but it's going to take years and years. Just like Chrome's did. But some people do like the Continentals. But I got enough of the Standard and they fit in the boxes. The Continentals and the Standards will fit in my white boxes. Anything above that, I usually don't list. Panoramic ones, I just send a bunch to another reseller. Said here, they just don't fit in my boxes. I want to store everything over there. So when I buy stuff, I try to make sure they're not jumbo and stuff. But thanks, Chris. Then Andy Pollard. I was curious for the sellers that sell lots. What do you find is the best way to batch? All one type, like all chrome or all linen or mix, batch by subject, churches, schools, landscapes, or just a grab bag of mix and everything. Just wondering what sells the best. Now, I'm not an expert on lotting cards. I'm not a big sorter. I have started lotting stuff up for Ko-Fi because people kept asking me, would you sell a small lot and stuff. So now I do. I have that little thing behind the door there. I spend about 10 minutes, 1 or 2 days. I'll grab a handful out of a box I'm working out of. I don't take things out of the box. Whatever's in the box, if it's one of the things on my sorting things, I'll stand there for 10 minutes and sort the cards. And the ones that don't fit there, then I'll put in the pile of the list. So I don't spend a lot of time on it. But what I've seen over the time that I have bought lots, a lot of people will say, 1,000 standard postcards, no chromes, no continentals, or linens. They just wanted to divide it back. Now I'm seeing more of a mixture across. And they'll just say no continentals and stuff like that. Different things. I see a lot of curated lots, got more time into it. But most of the time I see the bigger lots are just picked through, put in a box, 1,000 postcards, 150 bucks is where they start. The smaller curated lots is what I like. I like buying a little lot of baseball cards or music composers or Route 66. I like the smaller lots, the more curated lots. You pay a little bit more sometimes, but I kind of like that if it's something different I don't have. But maybe someone else can chime in when they lot up what their experience is. I haven't sold a lot of lots. I bought more than I sold, but it depends. I told them it just depends what they are. So thanks, Andy. Then thrifty postcards. The first time I sold multiple postcards at once was a bunch of Haynes Yellowstone cards. Yeah, you'll get people come in and they'll buy one Haynes. They'll go through your store. They're shopping down the aisle, and they're picking through, and then they get a bunch in a cart and they just buy them. I've had people buy 120 cards. The boat guy, he was buying 40 cards at a time, and then he'd come in and buy some more. And so you never know what the next day is. They could be out there writing stuff down, putting stuff in their cart, and stuff like that, and all of a sudden you get a big order. You don't know how long they do it. I get a lot of people that haven't paid. I probably got, let me check, I got 20 in there right now that they bought them but they haven't paid. I really don't care about that number. I'll look at it once in a while and see if there are any real long ones, and I'll just cancel those orders, non-payment. That's about it. But otherwise, those are shoppers. If it's one person, let me see if it's one person. It's about a half a dozen different people. One person's got a lot. So it just depends on there. But I'm not worried about unpaid. It's fine. I usually make out at the end on there. So that's I love selling the bigger lots. And he agrees they are beautiful displays in National Park. Yeah, the Yellowstone is just kind of like Silver Springs. Do you list them or not? Like Old Faithful Geyser? I don't know if I'd list any more of those. I got enough of those. Now the Old Faithful Lodge, Yellowstone Lodge, yeah, I list that. That seems to do pretty good. I remember selling those. I'd have to check the sell-through rate just to double check my feelings about it, because what you feel and what's happening sometimes is two different things. But yeah, the Yellowstone, we want to get out there sometime and see all that stuff. Thanks, Thrifty. Now this is a paraphrase of an email I got back and forth to a person about the red letter on the Hanes Yellowstone video I did. In your Yellowstone video, you spoke about Hanes red lettering on postcards. I have heard that there is something special about red lettering on postcards. Can you explain what it is? I have no idea. On the Hanes, the way I read it, they did the color tone cards of that bison I showed you, and I'll stick it back up here in the red letter. That was kind of a branding thing for them, the way I read it, is their color tone and red lettering was Hanes. So it was something with that. Now the other divided backs that you find that have the red lettering, the yellow, the white, different things, I've never really found anything definite. I've heard what you're saying before. Some other YouTubers have said some stuff about red letters. Does anybody out there know if there's a thing with that? I've never seen it officially, or I've never priced up a card because it has red letter. I've never seen more red letters sell than other ones. Maybe I don't notice it. But if there's something out there, let me know that I'm missing. But me and this person went back and forth a little bit, and I really don't know. I've heard of it, but I don't know. And personally, I don't think so. But I could be wrong. Thanks for watching. Here's some fish for you to watch.